We picked up 2 of these director's chairs along the road. They're out for the trash. They're missing their seats, but that's a pretty easy fix. You just need a dowel to slide in each of these tracks, and the fabric fits over the dowel and slides in there with it, and then you have a chair. So I have this fabric left over from something, fixed fabric, to try making new seat covers for these director's chairs. I looked online. You can buy them for under $25 for a new seat and back, but why do that when you can make it? So I've cut 2 of these strips. They're about not quite 8 inches wide and 28-ish inches long. But the first thing I need to do is hem this. And the great thing about this fabric is it's got these lines on it that make it super easy to make nice straight hems. So I want to show you how I measured the back. So I take my tape measure, wrap it around, and it's overlapped a little bit there because you need room to overlap it and sew. And then come across and again overlap it, and so I can do this right. It's right around, if my phone would focus, it's right around 30. I don't know why it's not focusing. Right around 30 inches, and obviously that'll get pulled a little tighter because you want the fabric to pull the backs together a little bit. Okay, back to hemming both edges of the chair backs. I fold the edge under twice and hem it. So now we're going to measure and see how much we need to fold under to make the pockets on either side. And obviously I made this a bit long, but that's okay. You can always trim it, but it's hard to make it longer. So I'm just going to kind of guess here. And I don't want it to be too tight. Okay, we can sew that seam, and because it's narrower at the top, I'm going to make a diagonal seam so that it fits a little better. To fit the first side on, I just wrap it around the pole and then pin where I want the seam to go. And then I'll trim this off here, this extra. Some of it will get folded under, but I'll trim off because there's a lot there. I've got my first side sewed, so I put it on, stretch it across, make it however tight I want, and just put a couple pins in so I can see where I need to sew. One back done, time to make the second back. Then you're going to repeat the process, hemming both long edges by folding under the raw edges twice and sewing them, then creating the pockets on either side that will slide over the back of the chair. Okay, got both backs done. Now it's time to make the seats. To measure for the seats, I tucked my tape measure end into the track, and then I'm measuring across. And it's about 19.5 inches, but I'm going to add probably 3 inches to allow for the seams to make the pockets. And then I have to see how wide the seat is. So it is about 15.5 inches, so I'll probably go with 16.5 to allow for the hems. First up, I need to cut out 2 rectangles of fabric to make the seats. So I trim my fabric to make a straight edge, and this fabric is great for that because it's got the very geometric pattern on it. And then I cut 2 rectangles to the measurements. I think they were like 17, 18 inches wide, and then around 24 inches wide. Then, just like the seat backs, I need to hem the edges of the seats by turning under the edges twice and sewing a seam. Okay, I have both edges hemmed now, and I have my dowel. It's a 3/8 inch dowel, and it's cut to about 16 inches because that's how long the track is. And now I need to sew around along here to make a channel for the dowel to slide through. Now I have my channel sewn for the dowel, and I zigzagged it just to make it a little sturdier and to kind of finish the edge, because I didn't want to fold it under, because I didn't want it to be too thick when you put it in the track and then the arm stands up on it. I was afraid it would be too thick and it would make the arm sit oddly. Okay, I've got the first channel sewn and ran the dowel through it, so now that side is secure, and I can pull on it and it won't pop out. And now I need to measure to see where to sew the seam for this one. So I'm just going to kind of lay it in there and pretend, and then figure out where I need to sew that to make the channel for the dowel on the other side. Once that's done, you can slide the dowels into the tracks and you have a chair seat.